What's going on YouTube? It's Brazen back here with another video for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys want to hit a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here, and leave a comment letting me know you subscribe so I can welcome you to the family. And that being said, cue intro. What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Madden 20 video. So as I said, this is the second part of the exclusive solo challenges, so it's going to be the second 10 starting on the Stephon Gilmore until I finish them at the end. So we're going to go ahead and just start it, get a user tackle in 3 plays, don't allow rushing yard this play, and get a sack. So basically, if you can get a user sack on the first play, that would be the best. But if they run it, just definitely try not to let them get a rushing yard. It's all going to be preference on what actually happens and what they run. So they are going to run it, and we are going to get a user tackle, but we aren't going to get the sack. So unfortunately, if you don't get the sack, we can see that is only 4 stars. So just go ahead and restart it and go ahead and start in the 3-4 again. So you kind of want them to pass it, to be honest. If they run it, try, I guess, not to get the user tackle would be a good way. Right there, we are able to get it. And that should be 5 stars now. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we will just hop into the next one right away. Don't allow a touchdown in 3 plays, get a user tackle, and then get a sack in 3 plays. So basically, what you're going to want to do on this one is actually just go ahead and get a sack on the first play, or, you know, if you can, at least in the first 3 plays, get a user sack, but hopefully as fast as possible, because then you can just do the cheese field goal block to punt safe, get the ball in your hands. If you don't have a fast team, I wouldn't advise that, just saying, because you can still play defense and not allow a touchdown, so it's not really that big of a deal to play defense for 2 more plays. It really doesn't make that big of a difference, to be honest. So I might show you guys that just so that if you guys don't have that fast of a team, you can do it this way. So don't allow a touchdown 3 plays, get a user tackle, and get a sack in 3 plays. So what we need first is to get a user sack if possible, because that is going to be the most important. You might be able to get a user tackle before the sack. Really depends on there. So it's second down. So they're going to run the ball. We're not going to get a user tackle or a sack on that play, which is not a big deal. Third down. So if you don't get it in the first 2 plays, you're going to have to restart it once again. So we're going to show blitz inside, and we know that they're going to pass it most likely. So try to get off the line fast, run on the outside. And unfortunately, I'm not able to get that user sack. So we do get a sack, but we don't have the user tackle. So we are just going to pause it and restart really quick. So obviously, you could kind of, if you get the user tackle on the first play, then you get a sack, then you're totally fine. But if you don't get the sack, try to get the user tackle if you can. It's not going to be perfect every time, as we can see. There we go. Actually, it says we do get that user tackle. So even though I don't think I touched them, they gave it to me. So that works. So right here, we're going to show this blitz again. We're going to try to get off of there, and we're not actually going to be able to get it once again, so we will have to restart, unfortunately. So they are going to punt it on that 4th down, so that is the issue with it. So since they're going to punt it, we do have to get that user sack. So that does make this take a little bit longer, depending on what kind of plays they run. We really want them to pass on the 2nd down if we can, because we would be able to get this sack hopefully, and TJ is going to be able to get there, so we will be able to get it now and get it over with. So complete user tackle, there we go. So if you're not able to actually, if you don't have a good team, basically, you can still just go ahead and run this. You could try to sack them again, honestly, and then on 4th down, they will just punt it. So if you don't have a good team, just maybe run cover 2 man or something like that. It doesn't really matter. They're really far from the end zone, so honestly, I just know sometimes doing that field goal block to punt safe, you can allow a touchdown if, unfortunately, your team's just not that fast. If you're maybe on a side account, or if your second corner is just not that fast, or your 4th corner, whatever the case is. So right here, we will get that 5 star. And we will move on. So complete 2 passes, and then score a rushing touchdown in 4 plays. So basically score complete 2 passes as far as possible, and then score the rushing touchdown in the next 2 plays, and you will get the solo challenge done. So the 2 passes are going to come first, and then the rushing touchdown will come after. So it is a little bit of, a time crunch, in the sense that you do have to complete 2 passes, and then you're only going to get 2 chances to score the rushing touchdown off of there if you are going for 5 stars. Obviously, if you're not going for 5 stars, that really doesn't matter too much, but I'm talking about if you're only going for 5 stars. So score touchdown, score rushing touchdown on 4 plays, complete 2 passes. So we're going to run 2 pass plays and hopefully try to get all the way to at least like maybe the 10-yard line if possible. As close as possible is going to be best. So we're going to go ahead and run Juju on a go route right here, and hopefully they either come down or they widen out in cover 2, which they are going to widen out so we can hit them up the middle. So on the first play, we are going to get to like the probably, yeah, about the 25 is fine, just because that gives me some space to be able to actually score the rushing touchdown still. So we're going to go ahead and run this, and we can get down at like the 5-yard line, which is going to be like almost perfect because I'm pretty confident in my ability to run it in from 2 plays from here. So if you don't think you can get it in on the run play, like I always say, you could run it with your quarterback. So we are going to hurry up offense this. Hopefully they don't go to goal line. They do go to goal line. So now since they go to goal line, what I'm going to do actually is run it with Vic. And hopefully he is able to get there, and I am not able to get there. So we are going to have to restart it. So that's super unfortunate. But you can see this. You could see basically how to do it. I just unfortunately did it. Vic was not able to get that last yard. He kind of like weirdly went through the pocket. He didn't turn very good in my opinion. So hopefully Juju does come down with that. And Juju's not able to come down with that. I just figured maybe he would. But they played a good cover 3 right there. So we're going to go ahead and just run a play action. So you do have to complete the 2 passes. And we will have to restart this once again, just because we know by the time we complete the 2 passes. So really you want to try to complete this on the first try if you can, obviously. When you mess up, it does make it take longer. So hopefully this is going to be cover 2 or something like that again. And it is going to be cover 2, so we are going to be able to hit Juju. And like I said, we probably want to get down to like the 20, 25, something like that. That's just my personal preference. We will just run him on another go route. You have to throw this decently quick if you're trying to get Juju on the second one, because you don't want him to score. So they are going to come out in goal line again. So I'm going to actually just run inside zone and see if I could hopefully still get it, which I am able to get it on this play. And just like that, we will be able to get the challenge done. 3rd time's a charm. Really, I should have got down the first one, but like I said, Vic kind of ran really weird on that 4th down. Or that 4th play. So right here, rush for 14 yards, complete 2 passes, and then complete a passing touchdown. So what you're going to want to do is rush for 14 yards on the first play, complete 1 pass, and then on the next play after that, go ahead and just throw the touchdown if possible, because you do need those 2 completed passes and that 14 yards rushing. So 14 yards rushing comes first. Hopefully you can do it in 1 play just to make it faster. But if you're not able to, it's not a huge deal either way. So we will go ahead and just let this load, and then we will go ahead and get into it. So right here, hopefully when it loads, like I said, these loading screens sometimes take forever, unfortunately. So rush for 14 yards, complete the 2 passes, and then score a passing touchdown. So rush for the 14 yards first, like I said, is going to be the best way to do it. So right here, Trey Y flex. They give you Kirk Cousins as your quarterback as well, but it's not too big of a deal. So right here, we got to get 14 yards. I don't know if we actually hit 14 yards. So we actually rushed for 13 yards, very unfortunately. So just rush for 1 more yard. Let's hurry up offense on these just to make it go faster, in my opinion. And then we need to complete 2 passes. We're going to actually just run it, levels Y right here. And I think Ebron might be able to come open. And actually, doesn't look like he's going to be able to come open on that. Those cover 4 palms, it kind of looked like man. Kind of weird, whatever cover 4 palms is. That should kind of look like man, like I said. So right here, we just want to hit 1 more. And it looks like triangle. Even though it's a short route, he was open. So let's just go ahead and get that completion, because we just need the touchdown as we can get it. So right here, it looks like they're going to man up Juju on the crosser. And it doesn't actually look to be man, but we should be able to still hit Emmanuel there. And for whatever reason, he drops that. So we will have to replay it. So that was super unfortunate because obviously, I don't know what Emmanuel was doing, but that was 4th down. So rush for 14 yards if you can. And I am going to be able to rush for 14 yards right there. We are just going to get some extra yards to make sure we get it. So right here, we're going to run this go route. And like I said, they were kind of running some weird defenses against us. Not too big of a deal if you have to run it back. We can still get it done pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and run the same thing. He's going to widen out. We throw it to Juju, and this time we are able to get it. So they were running a weird like man thing last time. This time we are able to get the 5 stars and get it done and move on. So score a rush for 36 yards in 4 plays, rush for a rushing touchdown 6 plays, and then score a rushing touchdown. So basically, we just need to score a rushing touchdown as fast as possible. So as soon as it loads in, we're just going to go ahead and hit that inside zone and see what we can do. I think we do have LeGarrette Blount as our running back. Hopefully, he's decently fast. I don't know which one they give us, but we will have to wait and see. We know his trucking is probably going to be ridiculous, so we will have to wait and see on this. These challenges shouldn't really take you that long. Like I said, even with a couple mess ups, we are getting through them pretty quickly. You know, under an hour for all of them. Like I said, maybe 20 minutes per 10, 25, maybe even 30 at the most. So under an hour, definitely doable. So right here, we are going to go formation. There's a couple different ways you can do it as well. Like let's say you don't want to go. Let's say you have issues and you're not good at doing it from shotgun. Just come under center and run plays like this. You could still do it. So I'm going to run it this way because there's less people over here. So you can see LeGarrette Blount is pretty slow, unfortunately. So we have to rush for 36 yards in 4 plays and then score a touchdown in 6 plays. So it's super, super unfortunate. You can try to run it out of shotgun. I'm actually going to have Le'Veon in there because he is my 3rd down back. So you could go ahead and do that. And then if we see, boom, you're able to score the touchdown. But unfortunately on all of these, they may not count it. So that's the only thing to be worried about. Hopefully they do count it on this. So they do actually count it. So I would probably not go under center unless you want to sub out LeGarrette Blount. I know on the kick return, it wasn't working for the punt return, but for this, it does work. So rush for 7+ yards, score 2 passing touchdowns with Nick Foles. So, and don't throw 2 incomplete passes. So once again, we will go ahead and get into it. So rush for the 7 yards right away, score a passing touchdown this drive, and then just get a pick, fall down, and then throw another passing touchdown. The only issue is, like it says, do not throw more than 2 incomplete passes. So that is a little bit of a wrench in the system, or it might make it a little bit harder for some of us to complete. So once it loads in here, we will be able to do it. And yes, we already know how to power up players by now. So I don't know why we're still getting that loading screen. But right here, score 2 passing touchdowns this quarter. So you do have a whole quarter to complete it as well. So if you did mess up, you have 5 minutes total. But you really shouldn't need 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is run it first, get those 7 yards out of the way, and then we will just score the passing touchdowns after and make it easy. So right here, we're going to just try to basically make sure we get 7 yards. We know we get 9 right there, so we should be good. We're going to run a quick slant. And Juju is going to catch that, but I don't know if he actually scores. He actually does score right there, so we get 2 passing touchdowns this quarter. We're going to just kick this extra point, and then we will just sky kick it on the kickoff. So it shouldn't be too hard to do. It will just take, a little bit of time, just like the rest of them. Some of them are very easy. It just takes a little bit more time because of the way they make you do it, unfortunately. So right here, if you can hit stick them, that would be best. I will try to hit the hit stick, but honestly, I'm not really that great at it on the kickoff. So right here, we do know we need a passing touchdown. So do not score off of this defensive possession. We will go base block right and then switch it, but do not score off of this possession, like I said, because we do that offensive touchdown. So what I'm going to do is hopefully get the pick, and then I'll run it down to like the 10 just to give myself some space, so I have a different couple options to go ahead and throw this in. So what I'm going to do first is right here, tray Y flex, levels Y corner. It's not man, so I'm hoping Ebron comes open, and it looks like circle still is going to come open. It's just going to be a lot later than you would maybe want, but it still works all the same. And then just like that, boom, 4 and 5. So for Rod Woodson, don't allow any points this quarter, force a turnover, and don't allow any more than 45 yards. So basically all we're going to want to do is get a pick, get the ball, and then be done. So once you get the pick, it's just going to be about running the clock out. So it shouldn't be too hard to do once you actually go ahead and get that pick. So as it loads in on that weird screen, we can see that we will just continue to do this. It shouldn't be too hard. It just is going to take a little bit of time, but not a huge deal. So as we load in, you just gotta wait for these loading screens, which is super unfortunate. But as soon as you load in, it really should just be maybe like a 2-3 minute solo challenge because you have to force a turnover. We are going to start on the defensive side of the ball, luckily, so we don't have to punt right away or anything like that. And they don't have timeouts, not that they would call them in the first quarter most likely anyway. So we check the speed always. 81, not that big of a deal. He's pretty slow. They are going to loft it up. And, it's a little unfortunate when you aren't able to get a pick when they just do those random lob passes. So if you don't get it on the first one, it's not the biggest of a deal. Just go ahead and run the same thing again. Right there, we get a pick. And then you can basically fall down at the 40. The 40-yard line is definitely enough. So we know we know for the challenge, all we needed to do was not to get a turnover and then just don't allow anything. No points, no yards. So super, super simple. Just go ahead and get the ball, chew clock, choose your play of choice. I use contrary Y flex, inside zone every single time. It's just my play that I feel comfortable with, in my opinion. Really, it doesn't matter. You should be able to basically do whatever you want to get first downs against them. Like I said, it's just preference. And there's no 2-minute warning since it is the first quarter, which that's super nice. Try not to go to fourth downs if you don't have to. But if you do have to go to fourth downs, I would just definitely go for it. So I'm going to come out in levels Y corner, see how they come out. I'm probably just going to take off with Vic, to be completely honest, because I think it's going to be cover 2. I'm just waiting to see where the hole is. And they are actually going to be able to get me right there. So like I said, I'm still going to go for it just because I don't want to play defense again. If you don't get it, it's just the same thing on the defensive side of the ball again. And Juju's going to come open right away on there. So we're just going to go ahead and dump that off, make sure we get the first down. We will have to probably get one more first down, but it's still, we don't necessarily have to, I don't believe, but the clock will just run slower. So we shall try to. Right here, we're going to try to get like 8 yards. That way, we don't get a first down too early. Right here, we're going to let it go under 120. Now we know we can hike it because of our clock management. Get that first down, and now we're definitely good to go. So now we're just going to have to run one more play under that 40 seconds, and then we can sim it out of the quarter. So as soon as it hits about 40, go ahead and get it done. Fall down, and then sim it out as much as you can. It'll put it down to like 8 seconds, and then you do have to just run it out for those 8 seconds. But that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then just like that, we do have this one done with that 5-star as well. So right here, score a field goal in 5 plays. Make a field goal from 25 yards or closer, and then rush twice. So basically what we're going to want to do is rush twice and try to get in to like the 8-yard line, I guess, is 25 yards or lower. So it adds 17. I think it's 17 from, because the end zone is 10 yards, and then you kick it from 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So if you were to get to the 10-yard line, it is a 27-yard field goal. So luckily, we do have a couple more plays if you're not able to do it in the 2 rushing. So rush 2 times right off the bat, and then you may have to pass for 2 plays, but you have to get there in 4 plays. That way on the 5th play, you can kick the field goal. And once again, if you're not going for 25, all 200 stars, just kick a random field goal, I guess. But rush 2 times. We're going to try in those 2 times to be able to get as close as possible. So right here, we are going to, that was a really weird loading screen. Once again, we know you have to rush twice. So try to get as much as you can on single or each play. Don't waste time if you don't have to, which right there, it's unfortunate that we basically got like no yards. And these solo challenges aren't necessarily hard, but they're not easy. It seems like their tackling is a little bit better and things like that, but it's not too amazing. So right here, we're going to try to break some tackles. So we know in 2 plays, we got to get to like the 8-yard line at the minimum. So we're going to run this go route with Juju. He is going to be able to get it inside the 5-yard line. Once we get inside the 5, we know we can fall down and we should be good to go now, because plus 17 yards, that's going to make it like 21. And it did say 25 or closer, which is kind of different. Usually they make you kick farther field goals. No big deal either way. We have a big zone to kick it in. And just like that, you kick the field goal in less than 5 plays. And that should be 5 stars all the same. So now John Randall get 2 user tackles this quarter, recover a fumble, and score a touchdown. So this one is going to be a little bit different. What I would advise doing is trying to recover a fumble first. And if you can get it for a touchdown, perfect. But don't get the 2 user tackles. Obviously, try to not get user tackles. Try to get a user sack first, a sack fumble, and then try to score the touchdown. But if you don't score the touchdown, it's not a big deal, because when you get the ball on the offensive end, you can score a touchdown. It doesn't have to be a defensive touchdown. So this John Randall one is probably one of the harder challenges, just because it's a little bit more specific on what you exactly need to do. And it is a little bit harder to get that fumble. If you didn't have to get a fumble, and it was just a turnover, I would just say get a pick 6 and then worry about the tackles. So 2 user tackles is what will finish it, but we need a fumble and a touchdown first. So we're going to all out blitz off the bat. Hopefully they pass it. It's a lot easier if they do pass it, because we don't want to get those user tackles. So if they do run the ball, try not to get a user tackle, because we don't want to get, and I wasn't even on him, so they gave him the user tackle either way. So that is going to make it a little bit more difficult. Hopefully they pass it. We can get a sack, fumble, touchdown. So that actually is going to be a fumble, and we weren't able. So we actually got a fumble. I don't think we got the user tackle, luckily. So that actually kind of works. We got the fumble, no user tackle, and we got the ball. So we're going to go ahead and just score the touchdown first. Emmanuel's going to make a great catch. So we're going to score that touchdown. But we aren't, and we still need 1 more user tackle. So that kind of worked out perfect, even though it kind of glitched on us, the way that play worked. But we got the fumble, which is perfect. The best way is when they play action. Whenever they play action pass and you blitz, usually you can cause a fumble. I don't know why. It just seems to be the way it works. So we're going to sky kick this once again, and this time we're going to try to get the user tackle on the field goal, or on the kickoff, which we should be able to. We're pretty fast with Franco, as long as we don't get blocked. And actually, we get another big hitter fumble. But luckily, we were able to switch on in time. So we're actually going to be able to get all 5 stars pretty easily. So for Malcolm Jenkins, force a turnover, don't allow a yard, and then score a touchdown in 8 plays. So this one should be pretty easy once again. We're going to go for a pick 6, which is going to be the turnover. And then once we have the ball, we won't allow any yards, obviously, and then we can score a touchdown in less than 7 plays after that. But hopefully we can just get a pick 6 on the first one and be done that way. It is going to be a little bit of luck to get the pick 6. It always is, but you can for sure get the pick. Don't allow any yards, and then go ahead and score the touchdown right after. So soon as we load in here, we will go ahead and get right into that. So score touchdown 8 plays, force a turnover, don't allow a yard. So what we want to do is don't allow a yard by getting the turnover. And then if you get the pick 6, it does make it easy. They do give us Malcolm Jenkins, which is a little bit unfortunate because he doesn't have Lurker. So he's not going to be as good as my Troy Polamalu. But we're not going to let it stop us. And we are going to get the pick. Kind of the worst scenario on that pick, which is like a deep ball and you fall down. But we still have 8 plays either way, so we could still get this pretty much right away if we do it correctly, or if we at least run some of the right plays. And it looks like it's going to be, I don't know what defense that was, but we're just going to go ahead and take our yards, and then we're going to hurry up offense. So we know we have 8 plays, so we're not too worried about it. Right here, we are going to be able to hit Juju up the slot. We got some speed, and we are able to score that touchdown. So just like that, you can see that is all of the stars complete. So that is 100 stars between the 2 videos. So definitely let me know down below with any questions. But between the 2 videos, you guys should be able to do all of the solo challenges. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. And as always, I will see you next time.